Hey there, good people. It's the Illest Podcast. This is Pierre, your host as always, and I thank you for spending this time with me. Let's talk about it. So, this BAFTA debacle, and for those who don't know what BAFTA is, it is the British equivalent of our United States' Academy Awards, the Oscars. So, BAFTA has their thing, and just like here, all the stars gather and for one big event and they pretty much stroke each other. So apparently in this year's version, which happened, I believe it was last week sometime, you had Mr. Delroy Lindo and Mr. Michael B. Jordan from the extremely successful film Sinners from last year. It was one of the highest grossing films of last year. They were leading off the show with the first award of the evening. So on a side note, there's a film called I Swear in this that got nominated for some BAFTAs this year, and it is about a gentleman. I believe his name is John Davidson. Is the actual person who has Tourette syndrome. And for those who don't know, Tourette syndrome is uh, it's a condition where the person can you can just have tics. I've seen people who just have the tick, and then I've seen people who just kind of, it's almost like they spaz out at some point. And when they do, sometimes they will just say anything at random, anything. The most notable person I've known who had it was Chris Jackson for LSU Tigers back in 90, I believe. He played with Shaq, and then he came to the NBA, and he was drafted by Denver, and he converted to Islam and changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. He just had the tick, if I'm not mistaken. I never heard him or anyone talk about just him saying anything at random. But so that's the paralleling thing that's going on here. So at some point during Michael B. Jordan's teleprompter opening, someone inadvertently blurts out the N word. Sorry, we're not gonna go there. The N word, and apparently it was this man. So all hell ensues. Thanks to the internet, the greatest worst thing. So the man he was escorted out of the room and he was taken to another room where he finished watching the event. Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, shouts out to them for handling it like a professional and just going and doing what they were supposed to do. And they did it with grace and style. So people have been up in arms about the N word. So now begins my take. So yeah, I think this was obviously a bad look for the BAFTAs because he was there because of their invitation. At the same time, he's a disabled man, and I think we have to give him some grace for this. Now, I've seen some celebrities like Jamie Foxx come out. He was the first one I saw. He had a tweet said, "Nah, he meant to do that." And I guess they asked Deion Sanders about it, and he said, well, if he said it, it must be in his vocabulary, or it must be in him, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Um, to all this, I say, BAFTA, they are going to come out with their blanket apology for this, and I'm sure they already did this. However, they do owe, I would say, Delroy and Michael B. Jordan an apology, and I don't believe they have, but because it's their event, I think it was during their segment, two black men on stage, someone hollers out the N word. Now, why that's horrible, I'm just like, come on, people. Come on. We're bigger than this word. We're bigger than that. The fact that two black men were on a stage tells you that. The fact that two black men were in the one of the most successful films from last year tells you that. How and why we keep letting this word bring us down to a level that we shouldn't be at anymore. It baffles me. It also baffles me that we're still so completely consumed with who's racist, because that is like the worst thing you can be called now. It's even worse than being called a PDF. And for those who don't know what a PDF is, it's new code language online for people who like children a little too much. And it's pretty much worse than that. It's like like you become a leper after you're labeled a racist or something. And to that, I just keep saying the same thing. It's like, so what? Why do we care what other people think? Why? It doesn't stop us from doing anything. You can't change anyone's opinion. And this is just one part of this. You can't change their opinion of how they see the world, or you can, I don't even think it's worth it. People should be able to distinguish what's right and wrong in the world now in terms of race relations. So, yeah, I don't know why we're giving this word so much power. I mean, to be honest with you, if it's just ignored, it wouldn't have the power over us. If we just keep doing what we're doing, it would have no power. But because of this constant internet race baiting and rage baiting, it lives. And that saddens me some. So on the other side of this, we have a disabled man who obviously, yeah, it's a bad look. It's a bad look to do something like that. But to Deion Sanders' response is like, well, if he said it, it must be in his vocabulary. Now, I know this is an older gentleman, but who doesn't know the N word at this point? It's pretty much marketed in almost all black music now. It's pretty much prevalent in almost all black music. So who wouldn't know the word? I think that's crazy, but that points the finger back at us. I think it's like, okay, well, and who cares if he said, what does that do from a white person saying that word right now? Because believe me, there is, or a non-black person, whatever. It doesn't do anything. It does nothing. The power of this word, or the infamy and negative impact of this word, should be nil at this point. It doesn't faze me at all, because I know I'm not that. Even if you want to call me that affectionately, I believe me, I'm not going to check somebody. I'm not going to check somebody that's black that wants to call me that. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes I do still say it, and I listen to my the old music that I grew up on. Unfortunately, has a whole lot of that in it. Believe me, I don't like it, but it's the music of my youth. What can I say? So that's complete transparency. But I'm at the same time, I'm not going out here and promoting that to anyone. I remember I didn't like it in college when I would listen to like DMX and Tupac and stuff like that. I didn't like really doing that I didn't like doing it with my white friends around, because I just didn't, I don't know. It just seemed not right to me. It just seemed not right for some reason. But, yeah, so, but for me, I've kind of washed myself of what that's supposed to mean to me. It just doesn't hit for me at all. It doesn't. It's almost, it's an innocuous word to me now. It's thrown out just about everywhere. The videos on YouTube, it's acceptable to say that, but you can't say the word pedo. Okay. I get it. But the way they act is like the word is like it's the worst thing that you could say. You know, it's worse than, I don't know, Armageddon. I don't know. It's just I'm just looking at things like that. And I understand it comes from a terrible place, but the fact is we got people who are looking to be offended. Professional victim mentality. I'm not saying they're victims, but they have a victim mentality. And that's the thing that I don't have. I freed myself of that. So anybody can think whatever they want about me. It's gonna mean very little. And that's how most of us need to move. Because if you do, the word just diminishes, man. It just diminishes. Why do we have to say that? Why do we don't have to? No one has to. The fact is we just want to. And we think it separates us in a way, makes us look cool. And it's like some sort of statement for something. And it's all of the above. And it's like it's not. It absolutely is not that anymore. And the sooner people realize that, we can just dead that. And so for me, this whole debacle, it's nothing. It's really nothing. Bafta put out the apology. I don't. Oh, I know. I saw something where they said that the gentleman didn't apologize to Delroy and Michael B. Jordan. He should. He should. But that's it. You can't make him. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And you know what's going to happen? Delroy and Michael B. Jordan are going to keep ascending and being successful as they always have been. So what's really going on? That's all I'm saying. It does nothing. It does nothing. And the sooner we can all see this and not forget it, the better off we'll be. So when instances like this come, we could be like, bruh, I'm in a $200 million movie next week, or, you know, like it just doesn't mean anything, man. And we're making this. We're making these molehills to climb. So yeah, that's what I gleaned from all of this stuff, but I don't think it's nearly as big an issue or anything as a lot of this other light stuff that they report on the news to just keep us at each other's necks. Please, can't we all just get along? It's your man, the Ill Cat, back at you with another podcast. I'm going to see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.